Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Confidence. Confidence is very important to everybody's lives. It allows us to take calculated risks, pursue opportunities, and believe in our abilities, which leads to personal and professional growth and allows you to just live the life that you want to live. However, society tends to associate confidence with extroverts. We are told that confident people are outgoing, loud, and always the center of attention. And for introverts, that sounds very unlike them and something that would make them very uncomfortable. So introverts tend to think that confidence isn't something for them or something that is within their reach. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Confidence isn't the personality trait of extroverts. Actually, confidence isn't really just a personality trait. It can actually be a skill that anybody can learn by applying the right strategies and tools and realizing, first of all, that confidence is something that anybody can achieve. Confidence is much less a personality trait or something you're just born with. It's a skill that anybody can develop, regardless of whether you're an extrovert, an ambivert, or an introvert. Also, it's important to keep in mind that confidence can manifest in many different ways. So introverts and extroverts can both be confident, but it's in their own way. Unfortunately, society has painted the way that extroverts are confident as the right way or the best way of being confident. But that's not true. Introverts can have confidence. It tends to just be a more quiet kind of confidence, but it's just as great and just as empowering as the confidence that extroverts tend to have, the more energetic and outgoing and loud confidence. Let's first quickly talk about the biological and psychological differences between introverts and extroverts to make sure that you understand why introverts and extroverts embody confidence in a different way. Our personalities and our tendency to be extroverted or introverted is shaped by two systems in our brains. The first one is the Behavioral Inhibition System. It can simply be described as the stop system. This system is sensitive to punishment, danger, or anything that could go wrong. It is more active in introverts, which is why introverts are more likely to be careful before acting and prefer calm, low stimulation environments. The other system is the Behavioral Activation System. This system can be seen as the go system, and it is sensitive to rewards and opportunities. This system is more active in extroverts, which explains why extroverts are more motivated by external stimuli like social interactions or exciting new experiences and situations. In general, introverts prefer being in more low stimulation environments and environments that is more quiet and relaxing. They are not that introverts are scared of social situations, that it just drains their energy battery, and when they are in solitude, quiet and calm environments, they can recharge their social battery. While extroverts, on the other hand, they get energy from being in exciting social situations. And the more they spend time in this stimulating environment, the more their energy battery gets charged. And that's why they tend to enjoy social interactions, unlike introverts who eventually will need to pull away so that they can recharge on their own. There are many more biological and psychological explanations for the difference between introverts and extroverts, and also there's a lot of debate on how much can we control of it. But the main idea seems to be that we are just born this way and it is influenced by our genetics. So you are just born more introverted or you are born more extroverted. But it's important to remember that extroversion is a trait that exists on a continuum or a spectrum. It's not necessarily the case of you either have introversion or you have extroversion. You actually have both. You just have more of the one than the other. So if you're an introvert, that just means you have more introversion, but it doesn't mean you have no extroversion. You are just more on the introverted side of the continuum. And actually, most people fall in the middle at ambivert, meaning they are a mix of introversion and extroversion. Only a few of the world's population actually falls on the end of the spectrum, meaning they really are very introverted and they really are very extroverted. But most people tend to label themselves as either an introvert or an extrovert. But in case you have been confused and you feel like you are both, you most likely are, and which makes you an ambivert. Another thing to keep in mind is that when it comes to introversion and extroversion, not one is better than the other. They are so different that it would be silly to try to compare them. They each have their own strengths and weaknesses. They are not better in any way. They are just different. So never feel bad about being an introvert or being an extrovert. They are both great. Introversion and extroversion can have an influence on other personality traits, but just because you're an introvert or an extrovert, it doesn't necessarily mean that you automatically have certain personality traits. There is a stereotypical view of introverts, and many believe that introverts are naturally shy. But shyness is a separate trait from introversion, and not all introverts are shy. And actually, extroverts can also be shy. Shyness is the fear of social judgment or discomfort in certain social situations. You can be an introvert who is completely at ease in social situations, but you just need some time alone to recharge your energy. Or you can be an extrovert who enjoys social situations, but you do feel shy in certain situations. Introversion and extroversion is more about where and how you get your energy rather than what personality trait you have or how capable are you of being confident. Now, when it comes to being confident as an introvert, one of the first things I want to talk about is body language. The way you behave has a really big impact on the way others perceive you, but also how you feel internally. If you behave physically like a confident person, you will eventually start to feel like a confident person mentally. The way you physically act can have an influence on your thoughts and emotions because the mind and the body is connected as one. So it is important that you pay attention to the way you carry your body throughout the day. And also, if you embody confident body language, it will send that message to onlookers, and people will start to see you as a confident person, and that will help you become more and more confident. One of the key elements of confident body language is good posture. In this digital world, we are all looking at screens throughout the day, and a lot of people have forgotten to pay attention to their posture because they're always looking down on the screen. And many people have developed really bad postures, and it is essential that you have good posture in order to appear confident and feel confident. There are many great YouTube videos about how to improve your posture. I recommend you go look at them, but I'll quickly go over the most important parts of a good posture. Good posture involves having your shoulders rolled back and using your back muscles to pull them down. It also involves you opening up your chest, but not to the point where your ribs are sticking out. And also engage your core, not too much, just a little bit. Engaging your core is one of the most effective ways of having good posture, especially when you are sitting down. When it comes to having good posture when sitting at a desk or a table, I recommend that you sit closer to the table because many people don't sit close enough to the table, and that causes them to slouch forward to reach the book or the plate or the laptop or whatever they are busy with on the desk or table. So you can move the laptop or whatever closer to you, and you can also move closer to the edge of the table because it's difficult to hunch forward if you are already against the table. That's one of the best ways to be more mindful over your confidence and to remind yourself to not bend forward, but rather sit upright. Adjusting the book or laptop or whatever is in front of you, and also adjusting the distance you sit to the table or desk is one of the best ways to prevent slouching forward. Another two important parts of good posture is your chin level and your eyes. It's important to have your chin raised, but not too far back. And it's important to have your eyes up. Too many people have their eyes on the ground as if they are searching for gold coins. Please lift your eyes. It will allow you to meet people in the eye, and people who are able to look someone directly in the eyes and hold eye contact while talking. That really is a good sign, and it really is a sign of confidence. So I encourage you to be different, and please lift your eyes up and meet the world with your eyes up and not on the ground. So many people aren't even aware, but there's a lot of people while they are walking, they have their eyes down. I encourage you to lift those eyes, because just simply raising your eyes is actually really one of the ways to feel more confident. Feels like you are daring and more bold, and you're ready to look anybody in the eyes. So I want you to pay more attention to where are your eyes most of the time. Is it down here, or do you have your eyes up? You can also do an exercise called the wall stand. So you basically just stand against the wall and you try to have your head, shoulders, back, and hips against the wall. This can help you also improve your posture by becoming aware of what does your ideal posture feel like. And also, I just want to remind you that just like when it comes to making any change, improving your posture isn't something that can happen overnight. You will catch yourself slipping up a lot at first, slipping into your more familiar but not so good posture. I still sometimes slip up a little bit and I hunch forward and sit with bad posture, especially during an exam. But I just have become more aware of it, and when I catch myself slipping, I just correct it. So just know that it could take some time to change your posture. And just know that if you used to have quite bad posture and you're now going to change it into different but better posture, it might cause you some pain. When I first changed my posture, especially my sitting posture, into better sitting posture, I experienced some pain in my upper back especially, but eventually that pain started going away. And it's expected because you're changing the way you used to sit. So your body is going to be uncomfortable because this new posture is unfamiliar to your muscles. So just know that you might experience a little bit of pain, especially if you make a really big posture change, but your body will get used to it. And now actually, if I sit with bad posture like I used to do all of the time, I will experience pain because now I have sat in a way that is unfamiliar to my body. So now I enjoy sitting with my new posture, even though other people might think that to have such good posture must take so much work and you must be so tired by sitting with this posture all the time. No, actually not, because my body has gotten used to it and my muscles has gotten stronger in the process. So I am able to sit with good posture comfortably. Also, I want you to remember that good posture is unique to each individual because we're all physically built different. We all have a different kind of good posture. So what someone else's good posture is might not be the ideal posture for you. So I want you to listen to your body and decide for yourself what kind of posture do you want. Another thing to keep in mind is that when it comes to good or bad posture, it doesn't matter how you sit, but if you sit for too long in the same position, even if it is good posture, you can anyway cause your body damage and experience pain afterward. Because it's important that even if you sit with good posture, to take breaks. So when you're sitting for long hours in front of the TV or reading a book, or if you are sitting for long hours in front of your desk in the office or at the library or wherever, it's important that you take breaks every about 20 minutes and maybe stretch a little bit to just prevent any pain or soreness later on, even if you sit with good posture. Apart from your posture, I also want you to pay attention to the way you walk. The way you carry yourself speaks volumes about you and your confidence. You can tell a lot about a person by just looking at the way they walk. People who enjoy being productive and who are very determined and always have something to do on their to-do list, they tend to walk very fast. People who are more laid back and prefer to go with the flow, they tend to have a more slower pace of walk. And the way people carry their bodies while they walk can really tell you a lot about them. I want you to pay attention to the way you walk, because not a lot of people actually actively pay attention to the way they walk, despite the fact that it can tell people a lot about you and it can influence their perception or impression of you. Try to make every step you take intentional. You place that foot down of yours with a sense of belonging and like you own that ground. Make the world, the paveways, the streets, the hallways, make it your runway, your catwalk. I'm sure you've seen those videos where people go to situations or buildings where they don't belong. They dress up the part and they go in and see if anybody will ask them who they are or tell them to leave. But then no one ends up thinking that they don't belong. That's because if you, dress the part and you walk into the building as if you own that building, then onlookers might actually believe that you do. Someone who is looking around a lot, someone who seems lost or just seems like they're doing something they shouldn't, that person is very suspicious, and people are likely to guess that that person doesn't belong here, and they're likely to approach that person and ask, who are you? But if you walk like you belong, then no one will question it, because that is just basic human psychology. So I want you to walk like you own every piece of ground that you put your foot on, or like you don't care who does. Or if it helps, you could imagine that you are walking on a runway or you are in a music video or movie. You can use your imagination to help you walk more confidently. I must admit that focusing and paying more attention to the way I walk and just walking more confidently, even when I didn't actually feel confident, I think that that really helped me become a more confident person. I used to walk around with quite bad posture. I used to slunge forward and have my eyes on the ground or floor, which was such a shame because I'm quite tall, and I am just so glad that I have improved my posture, and I think that that helped me a lot with becoming more confident. So please pay attention to the way you walk from now on. Another thing that I think is quite important for appearing confident, it is the way you talk. I think that the way you talk has a big influence on the way people perceive you when it comes to confidence. Confident people tend to be people who can easily express themselves, and people who don't whisper, people who say their say. But you do not have to be the person with the loudest voice to appear as someone who is confident, because I myself don't really have a very loud voice. But the way I speak, I have been told, is quite confident, because I speak in a very assertive way. I speak in a way that leaves no room for arguments. A lot of people, when they speak, they decrease their volume, sometimes without even noticing, before they get to the end of their sentence, which makes it sound like they're unsure of what they said, even if they aren't. Or they accidentally raise their pitch at the end of the sentence, which makes it seem like they are asking a question instead of making a statement. So I would advise you to expand your knowledge on the way people speak by watching YouTube videos on improving your speaking, or watching people giving speeches, or reading up about speaking techniques, because there's a lot more to talking than just talking. And you can tell people a lot about you and your level of confidence by the way you speak. So I want you to pay more attention to the way you talk. And also another way to feel more confident and sound more confident is by expanding your vocabulary and by practicing. Practice talking to a mirror, practice talking to a friend, and experiment with the different kind of ways you can talk. And then you pay attention to the way you talk, and you try to really actively learn this new style of talking, so you can talk the way you want to, and you can tell other people the way you want them to perceive you. You can tell them through the way you speak that you are a confident person. Now, your posture, the way you walk, and the way you speak, those are all very important elements of embodying a confident body language. But also eye contact is very important. I think that is quite obvious. But yes, confident people, they can hold eye contact. Eye contact really matters. It shows that you are confident, but it also shows that you are focused and engaged and actively listening. It helps others connect to you, and it establishes trust between you and the other person. Avoiding eye contact can really make it seem like you are insecure, because the eyes are the window to the soul. So it's someone who has a lot of insecurities and not a lot of confidence, they might avoid eye contact because they would not want other people to see their lack of confidence. And not making enough eye contact during a conversation can also make it seem like you're not interested, even if you really are. Now, how does one practice confident eye contact? When speaking to someone, aim to hold eye contact 70% of the time, occasionally looking away. Otherwise, it will become a staring contest and you might creep out the other person. So you can naturally look away by just looking to the side and then bringing it right back. And you don't have to look away for very long. 1 second is enough. Just look to the side and bring it right back. That is an easy way to break eye contact without making the person feel like you're not interested in listening anymore. And if direct eye contact feels too intimidating, then you can look at the spot between the eyebrows. They say that it looks to the other person as if you are still looking them in the eyes. But I do recommend that you try to look into the other person's eyes because, like I said, the eyes are the window to the soul. So I think it's important for you to really engage with the other person and to really connect with them. You have to look them in the eyes and read their soul. When it comes to making good eye contact, practice makes perfect. And if you're really not used to holding eye contact with people, then I suggest you gradually introduce yourself to holding eye contact by doing it when you are in a safe space. So you can practice holding eye contact when you are with your friends and family members, rather than practicing when you are with your boss, your professor, doctor, or anyone else like that. So I recommend you start with people you are more comfortable with and people you interact with more often. And then when you are comfortable holding eye contact with your friends and your family members, then you will most likely have the confidence to look that scary or authority figure in the eyes. Paying attention to your body language is an excellent way to appear as a confident person, even if you are an introvert. But there also is some mental mindset changes you can make. You can use positive affirmations as a way of almost tricking yourself into believing that you are a confident person. You can repeat phrases such as, I am confident, or I am enough, or I belong here. And eventually you will actually start to believe it. Fake it till you make it. There is some truth to this statement. And also the thoughts that we have really does shape our behavior. So stop telling yourself that you can't be confident, or because you are an introvert, society says you can't be confident, and you keep saying that to yourself. No, let's stop thinking thoughts like that, and let's rather tell ourselves, I am confident, or I can become a confident person. And also make confidence a part of your identity. Label yourself as someone who is confident. So when you introduce yourself to others, you must describe yourself as a confident person. Make confidence a part of your identity. And then you won't be able to deny it anymore. And because if you introduce yourself to other people as someone who is confident, then they will expect it from you, and that will put a little bit of pressure on you to actually come off as someone who is confident. And eventually you will become that confident person you first introduced yourself as. And also, confidence grows when you grow. So I recommend that you invest in yourself, expand your knowledge, improve your skills, and just become the best version of you, the version of you want to be. Because then you will learn to love and respect yourself. And when you love and respect yourself, confidence just naturally comes along. So as an introvert, with your thoughtful nature, your amazing ability to reflect, your ability to listen deeply, and your tendency to be comfortable in silence and solitude, you are still able to be confident. It is not necessarily the kind of confidence that most people imagine when they hear the word confident, the loud, energetic, and outgoing kind of confidence. It's a more quiet but very powerful kind of confidence. The kind of confidence where you do not enter the room loudly and gain everyone's attentions that way. You rather enter the room with good posture and you look the people in the eyes and you just radiate this aura. And so you have everyone's eyes on you, even though you didn't even say a word yet. That kind of confidence is a confidence that introverts can embody. It is important that you realize that in order to be confident, you do not have to have the highest status, the most amount of money, the fanciest clothes, or the loudest voice. You just have to be comfortable in your own skin, believe in your abilities, and know your value. The truly confident people who love and respect themselves and who are the leaders of their lives, they don't necessarily try to gain people's attention or try to attract people, but because of their quiet confidence, they naturally get people's attention, and the people are also naturally attracted to them because quiet, real confidence is very attractive. Now, if you have tried to make these mindset shifts or they didn't really have a big effect, then I want you to consider going to therapy if you don't already. Sometimes building confidence requires you to address deeper insecurities and fears that might be holding you back. So, if you want to get down to the roots of the insecurities and to learn about more tools that could help you become more confident, then I highly recommend you give therapy a try. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, take care of yourself and keep striving to be the best version of you.